Bonjour, Laurine. Welcome to Truly Astrology. This is your astrological reading. Each planet in our solar system travels through an area of the sky with a particular constellation, shapes made out of the stars, as we viewed them long ago from Earth. The ancient astrologers used mythology and stories with these constellations to understand, establish, and describe a quality of energy on Earth reflected by the images depicted and stories told. Each area of the sky, from an astrologer's perspective, is imbued with a particular sign's energy. The sun sign is the most obvious to understand, because the power generated by the sun is greater than any other planet, given its sheer size. However, what newspapers and magazines fail to acknowledge in the horoscope section is that we are more than just the sun's energy. We are stamped at birth with a cacophony of sound, heat, light, and other molecules vibrating at such unique levels from all sides. Some astrologers will even consider the meteorites in the Milky Way as having some influence. It's important to understand that you, like all of us, were born when the planets, stars, and other celestial objects were in a particular configuration. It's up to an astrologer to interpret these configurations with understanding of the general population and varied expressions of the same quality of energies. It's up to you, as the owner of the birth chart, aka native, to come to your own conclusions as your life unfolds. Because life is not only subtle at times, but deeply personal to you and therefore subjective. Nonetheless, this guide will help you to understand your own energy. I encourage everyone to understand their own energy from an astrological perspective, so that they may also understand others from a place of acceptance that we are all different and must not be measured by another person's yardstick. What we may present to others can be so different that we mustn't be fooled. Astrology serves as a tool to identify streams of energy, each contributing to our community river. To help break down the vast information found in your birth chart, because we're describing a life after all, the following sections indicate certain astrological groupings that your chart belongs to. This starts with the simplest and most general, and then progressively dives deeper into the more complex aspects. Here is your electronically generated birth chart, which saves us astrologers hours of painstaking review of our ephemeruses, not to mention sexagesimal calculations to establish degrees to which each planet falls in relation to one another. The circle in the centre represents Earth from a geocentric perspective. Geocentric means that the Earth is viewed as being central to the solar system, as opposed to heliocentric, which is where the Sun is central to the solar system. When you look at a world globe, you can see how it could be perceived that the Sun travels around the Earth. When you look at the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, which are imaginary paths made by the Sun at different times of the year. In your case, the Sun was travelling through the sign of Libra when you were born, as was Mercury and Venus. As you might have guessed, the symbols you can see represent each planet, and the orbit around the Earth is where they were captured at the time and location of your birth in the Northern Hemisphere. The first grouping is the polarity, positive or negative. This is not of negative connotation. This is a division of general expression, outward or inward. Your overall mix of polarity is 60% positive, 6 planets, versus 40% negative, 4 planets, which suggests you are only slightly more outgoing in your personality than you are introverted. However, this is a fairly balanced mix of both. When it comes to your personal planets, however, they are all positive. The Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars are faster moving, and therefore closest to Earth and have more impact on our daily lives. In other words, your expression to others on a day-to-day basis is outgoing, it's active, and you have a preference for speaking what's on your mind, which helps you to work through ideas verbally and resolve possible struggles by talking about them. This comes more naturally than sitting on thoughts and analysing them until you decide to respond to outside influences. In its basic meaning, you are likely to be more impulsive and reactive, sometimes regretting things you may have said and done later. On the other hand, it also means that you're a natural at taking advantage of opportunities as they arise and not wasting time in capitalising on something beneficial for yourself or others. Next up is your mix of planets and their modalities. Modality is the modus operandi of the signs: cardinal, mutable and fixed. Your overall mix of modality is 4 mutable, 4 cardinal and 2 fixed, though your personal mix is 2 mutable, 3 cardinal and none fixed. This means that your chart is leaning towards cardinal and a little less mutable with no fixed energy. An astrological chart dominated by cardinal signs lends qualities of initiative, leadership, and a proactive approach to life. Cardinal signs are associated with the beginning of seasons, symbolizing a sense of initiation, drive, and a natural inclination to take charge. The core of your identity is characterized by a desire to take the lead, or rather be in control to avoid any setbacks caused by others. As a result, you're likely to be strongly motivated by a sense of autonomy, striving for the best in life by setting many personal goals along the way. Your approach is practical, ambitious, and goal-oriented. Cardinal energy adds a sense of structure and a long-term perspective to your vision of life. Natives like yourself, with a little mutability, are usually dynamic and adaptable individuals, characterized by flexibility, versatility, and a keen ability to navigate change. Mutable signs are associated with the end of seasons, marking transitions and the fluidity of energy. The adaptable nature of mutable signs enables them to easily adjust to different circumstances and interact with diverse environments. There's a natural inclination towards variety and a willingness to embrace new ideas, new people, and new experiences, with a certain restlessness and a desire for exploration. The lack of fixed energy in your chart may reduce your determination in completing the activities you've set your heart on, because you easily get bored and then think of more ideas to pursue. Although this means that you may move away from a core of stability, you have fun when you're constantly moving and get a thrill out of new ways of living. The third grouping is elements: fire, water, earth, and air. Your overall mix of planets and elements include 1 in fire, 2 in earth, 2 in water, and a whopping 5 in air, much like your personal mix where there are none for fire, earth, or water. This means that your nature is communicative and connecting, either in your social circles, keeping up to date with the news, or networking in a business setting. Your mental life is an active element, which means you need to be sociable, and if you can't be sociable, you try to at least keep yourself stimulated by reading a book or listening to a podcast to learn something new or understand what's happening in the world, or even just to get outside and to travel short distances. Without social interaction or mental stimulation, you may feel restless, lonely, and somewhat without a purpose. The absence of fire could suggest that you tend to think more than you act, coming up with lots of ideas, but perhaps without the energy or the motivation to get them going. In other words, you might need some friendly encouragement or insistence from others. The absence of earth could also suggest something similar, whereby the ideas you have are difficult to pin down and get into an actionable, solid, organised plan. On the other hand, you may be an idea generator for others, in which case they can do the doing part. Something to consider is that you may not realise how emotionally you affect others with a lack of water signs, thinking your way into and out of situations that might require a little more tact or sensitivity. Now that we've described the simpler groupings, we'll now dive into more specific aspects of the chart. Part of analysing a chart includes looking at angles. Angles are the positional relationships between planets, but they are also between certain points of the celestial sphere. The celestial sphere is a projected globe around Earth used to chart points like the sunrise and sunset on the date you were born. One of the most commonly talked about angles is that of the ascendant, also known as the rising sign. The ascendant represents our mask to the world, the one we present to others when we first meet them, the approach we take to beginning things, and of course how we are perceived by others in a first impression. So your ascendant, aka your rising sign, just so happens to be in Aquarius. This basically means you've got that cool, calm and independent vibe going on, while still being friendly enough to chat up anyone, whether they're from your neighbourhood or Mars. You probably come off as the kind of person who knows their way around a gadget or two, with a brain that's always buzzing with intellectual ideas, and a heart that's all about making the world a better place. When it comes to style, you're not one to blend into the crowd. Nope. You like to strut into new situations with a unique twist on fashion that screams, "Hey, I'm here and I'm bringing the future with me." People see you as the trendsetter who's not afraid to think outside the box. Someone who's always 2 steps ahead with a fresh idea or an innovative approach to, well, pretty much everything. So while others are still figuring out today, you're already planning tomorrow and they're loving you for it. Although this is a full personal report, you'd end up with a Bible if we went into every possible avenue. If you're curious about how the stars shape your relationships, career, and even your ancestral roots, you can dive deeper into these fascinating angles by checking out our angles report at trulyastrology.square.site. Next up is your personal planets, the ones that are faster moving and therefore have more of an impact on your day-to-day activities. It's also worth noting here that although the Sun is considered a star from an astronomy perspective, it is still a celestial body that differs from each and every other planet we know. The first of your personal planets is the Sun, which falls into Libra, the charming diplomat of the zodiac. You're the person who can walk into a room full of tension and, with a smile and a well-timed compliment, turn it into a tea party. Balance and harmony are your jam. You've probably got a 6th sense for spotting when something's off, and you're quick to smooth things over, whether it's a crooked picture frame or a friend's awkward social blunder. Your superpower is making everything look effortless. Whether it's your incredible outfit or your ability to juggle a million social events without breaking a sweat, you've got that put-together vibe that makes everyone else wonder if you have some kind of secret. You're all about relationships too. You thrive in partnerships and love having someone by your side to share life's adventures, friends or lovers. But don't be fooled by your easygoing nature. Beneath that cool, collected exterior, you've got a sharp mind and a strong sense of fairness. You are not just about keeping the peace. You are about making sure everyone's playing fair and square, and that somehow you'll remain a subtle benefactor from the group joy you aim for. If your Sun is in Libra and it's hanging out in the 8th house, you've got a mix of charm and depth that makes you one intriguing person. On the surface, you have that classic Libra vibe, diplomatic, enchanting, and always striving for balance. However, the 8th house is all about the deeper layers of life that can involve some form of transformation, like sex, death, and power. All of these subjects involve a fair amount of mystery, which may reveal itself to you more than others as you move forward in life. So, while you're out there being your alluring Libra self, you're also drawn to exploring life's big questions. Stuff like the meaning of life and the mysteries of the universe. You're not afraid to dive into the emotional depths and confront the things that most people might shy away from. This particular aspect in your chart means you've got a knack for seeing the hidden side of things. Whether it's understanding what makes people tick or uncovering truths others might miss. You're probably drawn to intense, meaningful connections and might find yourself experiencing financial and/or emotional topics of intimacy, power, and shared resources, or even other people's talents. This combination of Libra's charm and the 8th house's intensity gives you a magnetic presence that people find both captivating and a little mysterious. The next description is of your moon, which falls into quick-witted Gemini in the family-oriented 4th house. The moon describes your emotional life, the relationship with your mother, your home environment, and your relationship with food, as well as your inner sanctum of thoughts and feelings. When the moon falls into Gemini, you're emotionally indecisive, always questioning life as you can see several perspectives at once, and may tend to talk to your family about any issues you might be experiencing. And if that's not possible, reading or writing a diary is likely to be soothing. You're comforted by a curious desire for a small slice of knowledge about everything. Sometimes when you seek emotional comfort, you're likely to prefer a good conversation about something new and interesting, in order to keep your head and heart in a fun and light-hearted state. This is most likely to occur when you're at home with family or just enjoying your own space. As the Gemini moon, you and your mother may share many conversations about emotional matters and usually approach them with an intuitive understanding of one another. Sometimes you may even reflect each other's moods. And being sensitive to words, this may not always be positive. On the other hand, any hard feelings often quickly dissipate at the mention of something interesting to talk about or learn. The other manifestation of this variation of energy can be a description of your home. Taken in isolation, this may describe a home peppered with books and even framed mottos and quotes like, "Home is where the heart is." Your home may also be influenced with a splash of nautical themes, as the 4th house is synonymous with the water element. Although it could also mean that you feel most at home with siblings or relatives, relaxing, debating and talking over a home-cooked dinner. With Mercury in Libra, you've got the gift of the gab, and you know how to use it. You're the one who can turn any argument into a peaceful discussion, and your friends probably love you for your ability to see every side of a story. But here's the twist. Your Mercury, like your Sun, is in the 8th house, which means the conversations aren't just about small talk. Nope, you're diving deep, asking the big questions and getting to the heart of what really matters. You're not just chatting about the weather. You're the person who's ready to discuss life's mysteries, secret motivations, and the subjects that most people feel uncomfortable discussing. Whether it's psychology, true crime, or even the paranormal, you are all in. You've got a knack for uncovering the truth, and you do it with that classic Libran loveliness. Fair, balanced, and always with a touch of grace. The 8th house also means you've got an eye on shared resources and finances. You're probably the one who can make sense of tricky money matters, all while keeping things fair and square. Plus, your intuitive side means you can often pick up on what's not being said, giving you that 6th sense when it comes to reading between the lines. Think of yourself as a bit of a Sherlock Holmes with a diplomatic twist. You love solving puzzles, digging up secrets, and understanding what really makes people tick. And the best part, you do it all without ruffling any feathers. Even when you're getting into the nitty-gritty, your words are smooth, and your approach is always thoughtful. Having Venus in Libra in the 8th house makes your social life a delightful mix of decorum, depth, and a sprinkle of mystery. You're the kind of person who can effortlessly win hearts with your graceful demeanour and natural sense of style. You value harmony in relationships, and you're all about creating balance and beauty wherever you go. You've got quite a skill for making others feel special and appreciated. But wait, remember the 8th house intensity mentioned with your Sun and Mercury? Venus is also hanging out in the 8th house, which means you're not just about surface level connections. You're drawn to relationships that are deep, intense, and transformative. Casual flings? Not really your thing. You're looking for that soul-shaking, life-changing kind of love that makes you feel alive. You want to merge with your partner on every level, emotionally, spiritually, and maybe even financially. You have a fascination with the hidden, the mysterious, and the things that others might find a little taboo. This could make you incredibly alluring to others. They can sense that there's more to you than meets the eye. You're the type who finds beauty in the depths, and you're not afraid to explore the complexities of love and intimacy. As we've mentioned before, the 8th house also deals with shared resources. So when it comes to money and finances, you're all about fairness and balance. You likely approach these areas with the same grace and thoughtfulness you bring to your relationships. You want everything to be equitable, and you're great at finding solutions that work for everyone involved. In love, you're passionate, loyal, and deeply committed. When you're in, you're all in. But because of that Libran influence, you also need harmony and mutual respect. Power struggles are not your style. You'd rather keep things peaceful, but you're not afraid to delve into the tough stuff if it means building a stronger connection. Love with you is not just a fling. It's a transformative journey that's as beautiful as it is profound. Alright, buckle up, because Mars in Gemini in the 4th house is like having a rocket engine powered by curiosity and wit right in the core of your home life. Your mind is always buzzing with energy. You're the type who's got a million thoughts racing at once. And you're not shy about sharing them, sometimes all at once. Whether it's debating the latest news, organising a spontaneous family game night, or just chatting up a storm, you bring a lively, dynamic vibe wherever you go. Along with your moon, your Mars is cozying up in the 4th house, both planets which rule home and family. This means your house is probably a whirlwind of activity. Think of it as the headquarters for your endless ideas and projects. Whether it's rearranging the furniture for the 5th time this month, starting and maybe not finishing a DIY project, or hosting lively debates at the dinner table, there's never a dull moment under your roof. You're not just sitting around. Mars in Gemini means you're always on the go, even when you're at home. You've probably got multiple projects happening at once, from that book that you're halfway through to the new hobby you picked up yesterday. And yeah, maybe not all of them get finished, but hey, it's the excitement that counts, right? When it comes to family, you are fiercely protective, but in your own Gemini way. You'll defend your loved ones with a quick wit and a clever argument, rather than with fists. And let's be honest, you're probably the one who wins most of the family debates, thanks to that sharp mind and even quicker tongue. Essentially, your home is a lively hub of ideas, activity, and maybe a bit of controlled chaos. You're the quick-witted, energetic force that keeps everything moving, ensuring there's never a boring moment. You bring such a lively, fun energy to your family life that everyone adores, even if they're struggling to keep up with you. Next are your transpersonal planets. These are the planets that travel a lot slower than the ones closer to us, which means that they can affect an entire generation of folks. Pluto, for example, spends just over 20 years travelling through one sign. So although these planets will certainly have an impact, these are impactful over longer, sustained periods in your life. And you may not notice them until you're older and can reflect retrospectively on your journey thus far. You have Jupiter in Leo in the 6th house. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, opportunities, and spiritual growth. You may find that over your lifetime, drama, flair, and a whole lot of go big or go home energy in your work and wellness routines helps you expand and grow in a creative direction. You've got that larger-than-life presence that just lights up a room. And let's be honest, you probably like it that way. When it comes to work, you're not just clocking in and out. No, you're bringing your A game, making sure everyone knows who's boss. As this Jupiter is chilling in your 6th house, which rules your day-to-day work and health routines, you're here to shine, whether it's organising the most epic office events, volunteering to lead a new initiative, or just being the go-to person when someone needs a pick-me-up. You bring a sense of fun and generosity to everything you do. When it comes to health and wellness, you're not about that boring routine stuff. You've got to add a little Leo flair to your fitness game. Maybe it's a flashy new training outfit, or perhaps you've turned your daily jog into a parade where you're the star. And let's be honest, you probably motivate others to step up their game too. Because who can resist your enthusiasm? Let's face it, your workplace wouldn't be the same without you. You bring a big heart, warmth, and generosity to your colleagues. You're the one who makes sure work isn't just something people have to do. It's something they might actually enjoy thanks to your infectious enthusiasm and sunny disposition. Then you have Saturn in Capricorn in the 12th house. One manifestation of this Saturn energy is having a father who works in the health industry and may work unstructured or unpredictable hours. Alternatively, your father might be such a hard worker that when he's home, he may not fully be present, as he's often thinking about work. As a result, this planetary position often indicates a father that is somehow absent from the home, physically or mentally. Nonetheless, this position also describes a father who commands respect due to taking his responsibilities seriously, and usually for the benefit of his family. Having Saturn in Capricorn in the 12th house is like having the ultimate cosmic taskmaster working behind the scenes, making sure you've got your life in order. You're all about structure, discipline, and climbing that metaphorical mountain to success. The 12th house is all about the subconscious, the spiritual, and the things that are hidden from plain sight. So you might have a quiet commitment to mastering your own life, whether that's through meditation, journaling, or just spending quality time alone. But let's be honest, finding inner peace with Saturn in the mix isn't always a walk in the park. You're not just searching for Zen. You are determined to conquer it like it's your next big business project. In summary, you're like a secret sage who's serious about self-mastery. You've got the discipline to dig deep into your psyche, and the patience to work through life's toughest lessons, even if you prefer to keep your progress hidden from public scrutiny. You're the quiet achiever with a determined spirit, working hard behind the scenes to build not just a successful life, but a meaningful one. Next is Uranus in Capricorn in the 11th house. Having Uranus in Capricorn in the 11th house is like being the rebel with a cause, who's also somehow managed to convince everyone else that their wild ideas make perfect sense. You're a bit of an enigma. You've got a rebellious streak, but it's all wrapped up in a power suit. You're not just out here shaking things up for the fun of it. You're the type who wants to revolutionize the system from the inside out. Think of it as being the unexpected maverick who's figured out how to climb the corporate ladder while wearing funky socks and plotting world domination with your fellow rule breakers. The 11th house is all about friends, groups, and social causes. So throw Uranus into the mix, and you're basically the ringleader of a crew that's destined to change the world, or at least disrupt the status quo. You attract a quirky bunch of friends who are as passionate about making a difference as you are. Together, you're probably brainstorming the next big thing, whether it's a groundbreaking startup, a new social movement, or just the most epic weekend plans. With Uranus in Capricorn, you are the mastermind in your social circles, behind innovative ideas that actually have a shot at making a real impact. You're the one pushing for change, but always with a practical edge. You're not just about big, wild ideas. You're about making those ideas work in the real world. So, if you're leading a grassroots movement or just convincing your friends to try something new, you've got a way of blending innovation with strategy that gets people on board with even the craziest of plans. Having Neptune in Capricorn in the 11th house is like mixing a dreamer with a CEO and throwing them into a social circle that's as mystical as it is practical. You've got this unique ability to blend lofty dreams with a solid plan. You're not just sitting around imagining how things could be, you're figuring out how to actually make them happen. It's like you're building castles in the sky, but with a blueprint and a budget. You've got big visions and you're determined to see them through, even if it means sprinkling a little fairy dust on your spreadsheets. In the 11th house, Neptune turns your social life into a mix of networking and daydreaming. You're the one in the group who can turn a casual coffee chat into a discussion about changing the world. Your friends probably see you as the idealist who somehow still manages to keep it all together, balancing those high hopes with a down-to-earth approach. Talking of friends, you've got a knack for attracting people who are as interesting and as imaginative as you are. Together, you might be dreaming up ways to create a better world, start a creative project, or just escape the real-world political sphere for something a bit more magical. Your 11th house Neptune also makes you super compassionate and empathetic. You're the one who's always ready to lend a helping hand or offer some wise, heartfelt advice. Another manifestation of this planetary position includes your hopes and dreams of having a big family or a community that celebrates and embraces traditions and old customs which bring you together emotionally. With Pluto and Scorpio in the 9th house, get ready to be the ultimate deep-diving philosopher with a mysterious edge that even the most seasoned adventurer would envy. You're not here for surface-level anything, definitely not. You're all about digging deep, uncovering secrets and exploring universal meaning hidden from the conscious. Your passion for truth is focused on the realms of travel, philosophy, higher learning and, of course, exploration. You're the type who's equally comfortable debating the meaning of life over a cup of coffee as you are trekking through remote landscapes in search of ancient wisdom. Your wanderlust isn't just about seeing new places. It's about diving into the unknown and transforming through your experiences. Whether it's travelling to far-off lands, studying obscure philosophies, or exploring taboo subjects, you're all in. And you're doing it with the intensity of a Scorpio on a mission. With Pluto in the 9th house, you've got this magnetic, almost hypnotic influence when it comes to your beliefs. People are drawn to your intensity and passion, and before they know it, they're following you down the rabbit hole of whatever deep transformative philosophy you're currently obsessed with. You're not about superficial beliefs. You want to inspire real, lasting change in how people see the world. Whether you realize it or not, you've got the potential to be a powerful teacher or mentor, but you're not handing out easy answers. You're here to push people to confront their deepest fears and desires to help them grow and transform. Your classroom, or blog, or podcast, or whatever medium you choose, is where souls go to evolve. Patterns of planetary aspects are shown on your circular birth chart, and different patterns can represent different ways of your life energies expressing themselves. You have many interesting patterns in your chart, Laurine. However, we shall only describe the most prominent. Much like the angles, if you'd like an in-depth look at your patterns, feel free to check out the patterns report at trulyastrology.square.site. You have 2 stelliums, which is when 3 or more planets are travelling through a specific sign or house, which emphasises the energy generated. Stellium in Capricorn. Your first stellium is hanging out in Capricorn, which basically makes you the boss of both the conscious and subconscious realms. Picture this, you're the CEO of your inner world, skillfully turning chaos into order and wild dreams into reality, all while keeping your feet firmly on the ground. Since you have a Capricorn stellium with Saturn, Neptune and Uranus, you're like the ultimate practicality guru, with a twist of creativity and a splash of mystical insight. With Saturn in Capricorn, you're the master of discipline and structure. No shortcuts for you. You're the one who quietly gets things done while everyone else is still figuring out where to start. When things need handling with care and precision, you're the go-to person, making sure everything is in order behind the scenes. When we throw Neptune and Uranus into the mix, you've got the perfect recipe for visionary thinking with practical execution. You're not just dreaming up wild ideas, you're actually making them happen. You've got a knack for taking those out-there concepts and turning them into something real, thanks to your blend of organisation and strategy. Whether you're leading your friends on a new adventure or tackling a big project, you're the one who keeps everyone grounded while still pushing the boundaries. With your Capricorn charisma, you've got the drive and determination to make your dreams come true and look pristine whilst doing it. You might have intuitively picked up on this pattern over the previous sections. The second stellium includes 3 planets that fall into Libra, and all of them were transiting the 8th house when you were born. You're essentially the cosmic combination of a silver-tongued negotiator with a mysteriously knowing vibe. Charm practically oozes out of you. You've got that magical ability to make everyone feel like they are the most important person in the room. And you do it all with a smile that could melt even the iciest hearts. But this isn't just your average Libran energy, because it's happening in the 8th house, the house of secrets, transformation, and all things hidden. So while you're out there charming the socks off people, you're also diving into the depths of their souls. Relationships for you aren't just about holding hands and singing Kumbaya. You're in it for the tough stuff. The intense, transformative connections that shake you and your partner to the core. You've got that knack for understanding what makes people tick. You probably enjoy uncovering a few secrets along the way. The 8th house is all about taboo topics, the stuff people don't usually talk about over dinner. With your Libra energy, you somehow make discussing the deeper, darker side of life seem like the most natural thing in the world. You've got a way of making even the most intense subjects sound elegant and balanced. You're the type who could throw a party and somehow turn it into a life-changing experience. People leave your gatherings feeling like they've been seen, understood, and maybe even transformed. You've got a gift for bringing people together, but it's not just for fun. It's because you know there's something powerful about the connections you're helping to create. With a stellium in Libra in the 8th house, you are a magnetic enigma, someone who's as interested in uncovering life's mysteries as you are in keeping things balanced and beautiful. You are the diplomat of the deep, using your charm to navigate the most intense corners of life with style and grace. Whether you're building transformative relationships or diving into the hidden layers of the soul, you do it all with that classic Libra elegance, which makes you one fascinating individual to know. Now that we've discussed your most prominent patterns, the next section is a description of your major aspects, those with the tightest orbs, and therefore the strongest energy. If you'd like a more in-depth review of all of your major and minor aspects, please visit trulyastrology.square.site for an aspects report. The first major aspect is Venus in Libra in the 8th, sextile Jupiter in Leo in the 6th. Your Venus sextile Jupiter is like a cosmic dream team, making everything you touch a little more magical. You've got a natural charm, especially when it comes to forging deep, meaningful connections. Remember that time you turned a casual chat at a party into a deep, soulful conversation? That's Venus in the 8th, making sure your interactions always have a touch of depth. Then there's Jupiter and Leo in your 6th house, turning everyday routines into something extraordinary. Picture this, it's a regular work day, but thanks to your homemade treats and incredible playlist, it feels like a celebration. Remember, you're the one who adds that special panache to life. This Venus-Jupiter sextile means you're great at making things flow smoothly. In relationships, work, or just in daily life, people are drawn to your warm, generous energy, and you're more than capable of turning the ordinary into something beautiful. With these two planets teaming up, you're all about sprinkling a bit of magic wherever you go, because when you're involved, life just gets that much brighter. The second major aspect is Venus in Libra in the 8th, square Neptune in Capricorn in the 11th. You've got a mix of charisma and contemplation that's both fascinating and a little chaotic. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, bringing the height of illusion and fantasy to your close friendships. Neptune's dreamy idealism might mean that you start a project with a clear plan, only to drift into a fog of visionary ideas that sound amazing but could leave everyone a tad confused. Another manifestation of this aspect could be regarding relationship matters. You are often a go-to friend to talk to about one-to-one affairs, and you welcome your friends confiding in you with secrets. However, some secrets you learn may interfere with a group dynamic and cause some worry or concern. The square between these planets means an amicable outcome can be achieved, but it requires diplomacy, honesty, and more time and energy in strategizing how best to approach it. Additionally, you can make anyone feel special and understood, but this aspect might also indicate a difficulty in balancing your desire for sharing interesting and intense friendships with your ideal of being an ambitious leader of a group. For example, it could mean you often have to choose between working towards your future or spending long hours supporting your loving friends and/or partners. However, it's not impossible. Squares usually mean that you just have to spend more time and energy and effort in bringing it all together. Overall, you are a delightful mix of charm and idealism. Enjoy the ride and keep charismatically travelling your way through life's little cosmic comedies. The third major aspect is Mercury in Libra in the 8th, square Uranus in Capricorn in the 11th. With Mercury square Uranus, our mind is like a smooth talker who suddenly drops a bombshell. You're charming and eloquent, especially in deep conversations with friends or partners, but then bam! Uranus throws in a curveball. You could find that sometimes you're giving away others' secrets in a group setting which otherwise should have been kept firmly in the treasure chest. On the other hand, your ability to understand and intuit insight from others may give you inspiration to enhance your profile in a more ambitious setting. You just have to work hard on bringing the intuition and inspiration together in a practical application, which isn't always easy. On the bright side, you should embrace the surprises. Your unpredictable insights are pure gold. Wild, genius ideas may pop out that no one saw coming. Don't be afraid to spice up the conversation with your unexpected ideas. Remember to capture your aha moments too, because those flashes of brilliance can strike any time. Keep a notepad handy to jot them down, as your thoughts might just be the fresh perspective everyone needs. Your ability to learn, communicate, and even teach others consists of charm and unpredictability. Just roll with it. Embrace your quirks, let your ideas fly, and enjoy the mental roller coaster that keeps life interesting. Now that we've gone through your chart, including your polarity, modality, elements, personal planets, transpersonal planets, patterns, and major aspects, the next section is Truly's recommendations. Truly's recommendations is where we may see some pitfalls. With all that Libra energy, you're practically the universe's designated diplomat. But remember, it's okay to rock the boat every now and then. Don't be afraid to call out the elephants in the room. You can do it with style after all. Just don't sacrifice your own needs on the altar of peacekeeping. With Aquarius rising and your North Node in Aquarius, you're practically the poster child for marching to the beat of your own drum. Embrace your quirks and don't worry about fitting in. The world needs more of your unique flavour, so sprinkle it everywhere you go and watch the magic unfold. The other thing to remember is that the Gemini energy has got you bouncing from idea to idea like a hyperactive squirrel. It's awesome to be curious, but let's try finishing one thing before you start the next, okay? Focus on the stuff that really gets you buzzing and resist the urge to be everywhere at once. With Capricornian energy, you've got ambition by the truckload, which is fantastic until you forget to clock out and, live a little. The mountain isn't going anywhere, so take a breather, enjoy the view, and maybe even have a little fun and rest while you're at it. Pluto in Scorpio gives you a radar for deep, intense connections, but try not to go full Sherlock on everyone's emotions. Not everyone appreciates it, even if you're a sweetheart about it. Also, it's okay to let your guard down and be a little vulnerable. Sometimes that's actually where the magic happens. Let people into your deeper consciousness, and you never know, you might be surprised by what you find. So, in a nutshell, you are a delightful mix of loveliness, wit, and ambition, with just the right amount of mystery. Just keep an eye on those cosmic tendencies that might trip you up, and you'll be golden. Well, Laurine, I truly hope you've enjoyed this reading. Feel free to share it with your friends and family to see if they resonate with it as well. Please feel free to stay connected with me on social media for any astrological questions. And don't forget to scan to win an astrology report. 10% of all income is donated to Empowered by Arthritis Australia.